Well, to be 2 capital G here, got a nice little strange duel for you guys to check out, and this one is really interesting. It involves a, I guess, kind of new concept when it comes to the rocket archetype, and this one is a little different. It revolves around a lot of destruction effects. Some of the destruction is going to be thrown at your opponent, and some of it is going to be even thrown your way. The rocket monsters, when they are destroyed by card effects, they float, so it's really not that big of a deal if you happen to blow your cards up. And then when you combine that with this new Loop of Destruction card, anytime a card on the field or anytime a monster on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you get to blow up one of your opponent's monsters as well. Counts as Ring of Destruction on the field, which is kind of nice for the Finger Critias, which you can actually run in this deck because of Mirror Force, Crush Card, Ring of Destruction, etc., etc. But I think I can just show you guys better than I can tell you. So let's go ahead and roll it. Windups with probably the Brickerino. I don't think you need more than one copy of World Legacy Succession. Probably just from one. Monster Reborn is back in the game. He's going to attack directly with that auto rocket, but you know, your boy Windup Rabbit's going to dodge it. It's going to set everything. Now, since he did blow his rocket up, doesn't matter. It basically floats anyways. And I believe that the copy of Wind Up Rabbit's going to return. He goes for Spiral Super Agent. That's going to be just negated. And this would have been a pretty strong combo, right? Because he has his Magician. Maybe he's trying to pull Shark from his deck, or I don't know what he's trying to pull from his deck, but he's obviously trying to trigger the copy of Wind Up Magician. He goes for his Wind Up Rabbit's effect, and that's going to get hit with Ghost Ogre. And then he's going to chain his Loop of Destruction so that he can also, since a card was destroyed, blow up the Wind Up Magician. Wind Up Magician will still actually resolve, but he doesn't get the key. It. So he's not going to be able to summon any Link monsters or any Xyz or whatever. Then check this out, right? He's going to go ahead, he's going to activate the copy of Supply Squad, so now when his monsters get blown up, which we already established, the rockets will float, but then he'll also get the draw as well. So he's going to activate the copy of Squib Draw, and he's going to get the blow on his opponent's monsters up. His opponent tries to dodge it with Wind Up Rabbit's effect, but he says, nah, man, we ain't having none of that. I got Ghost Ogres for days. I'm going to go ahead and blow you up with Ghost Ogre as I did before, and he, you know, still gets a draw. He's going to go for Lilith, which actually makes sense in this deck because Lilith can actually set, you know, cards like Ring of Destruction and Mirror Force straight from his deck as he gets a rocket monster in the end phase. And once again, going for Wind Up Rat, it's going to be hit with Ring of Destruction instantly. He's going to use Loop of Destruction on his own monster, so that's going to get him a draw, and it's going to trigger this. 5Ds, boys, shoutouts. He's going to actually summon his Mech Emperor Weasel, and that gives him a huge monster on board. Now, its, you know, effect to suck up Synchros is not really relevant anymore because we're not in the 5Ds era, you know, anymore, but it is still a very nice 2500 beater. And keep in mind, not only did he get that Ash Blossom, which was a draw from his copy of Supply Squad, but even if he like lost the Weasel somehow, he was basically he was going to be able to replace his monster regardless, because during the end phase the rocket was just going to replace itself. So it's a very nice, interesting concept where basically you're constantly blowing up cards with field destruction, and you're kind of rewarded for it with draws and, you know, more summons of monsters off rockets and using things like Ghost Ogre to destroy cards from the hand. Let me go ahead and show you guys what the deck list actually looks like. Okay, so the name of the deck was Luster Crash, which I'm not exactly sure what that means, but here's what the deck looks like on paper. The main monsters in the deck are the rockets, but you also have some other cards for like going second. Phantom Sky Blaster, really good card. This is just another card that helps you go into like your Link monsters if you need to climb for that Borolo Dragon a little bit quicker. The card actually got better as tokens inherently got better because of the release of the Nightmares and whatnot. You see the Fang of Critias, that I call it the Eye of Critias. I think I may have been thinking of the Eye of Timaeus or just something else. But anyways, Finger Critias, the reason you're using this, and I mean, yes, it's a little anime-y, so you could remove this if you want, but you're running Lilith, and you're running all of these traps that work with the dragon monsters. Like you have Mirror Force for Mirror Force Dragon, you've got the Crush card for Doom Virus Dragon, I believe your name is. Yeah, Doom Virus Dragon. You've got Ring of Destruction for Destruction Dragon, so you can summon these cards. Also, Loop of Destruction, again, counts as Ring of Destruction on the field, so this is something you can actually use, and you can search these cards with Lilith, so you have a way of inherently getting to them. All you have to do is get your, you know, Fang, and then basically you're locked and loaded at that point. Now, he does run a bunch of one-ups, so if you did want to experiment with this, I mean, the trap lineup outside of like Mirror Force, Crush Card, Ring, and you know, Loop of Destruction, you can kind of put whatever you want there. If you don't want to run Jar of Avarice, you don't want to run Mistake, you can feel free to put Solemns in and stuff like that. I would probably keep Heavy Storm Duster because because it's not that much field removal in this deck, and I just feel like that's generally a pretty good card. Also, let me see something right quick. Supply Squad. Oh, no, no. Okay, I'm thinking of something completely different. For some reason, I was thinking that Supply Squad was cards. I was like, would this trigger Supply Squad if you blew your own set cards up? But it's only with monsters, so disregard that. But in general, going to be a lot of destruction in this deck. The main point is to get your rockets on field, have them flow, maybe summon your Emperor, your Mech Emperor, Weasel to basically beat the crap out of your opponent, and kind of use Loop of Destruction. This actually, maybe you might want to bump this card up to multiples, because even though Jar of Avarice is in here, and I guess you could, recover it, like, I would probably bump this up to multiples, because you really saw that it was doing a lot of work in that duel, and most decks aren't going to have a card like Wind Up Rabbit that can kind of like dodge targeting and whatnot.